I'm Olivia Bailey, and if you're seeing me right now, you're probably watching EHCtv on Comcast Cable, or you might be listening to WEHC 90.7. Whether you're seeing or hearing me right now, I'm glad you're tuned in. My guest today is Nathan Kish, the men's soccer coach here at Emory and Henry. Coach, thank you for being on the set.
Thank you for having me.
And this is your second year at Emory and Henry. Kind of tell us your coaching strategy and how you found Emory and Henry.
Sure, yeah. I was an assistant coach the year before I came to Emory and Henry at Catholic University in Washington, D.C., which is actually an affiliate of the ODAC just for football. So we competed in a different league for men's soccer. But, naturally as an assistant coach, you start looking to become a head coach, and I just felt like it was the right time for me to move on and, take a new challenge here at Emory and Henry. So applied and came down and was lucky enough to get an opportunity down here and really grow as a coach over the last couple years and take on some of the challenges here at Emory and Henry and in the ODAC. So it's been a great experience so far.
Catholic is part of the USA South Conference, correct, for men's soccer?
In men's soccer, they actually compete in the Landmark Conference. Mm-hmm. So it's a conference that is composed of teams from Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, and Maryland.
So what has the move been to the ODAC? What changes have you seen in competing in the ODAC?
It's definitely a very competitive conference. I think maybe a bit more consistent top to bottom. Anybody can beat anybody on any given day. And it's definitely a conference that has a lot of tradition. Certainly with, I think it's been around for a bit longer than the Landmark Conference in terms of some of the members. So it's been a tough conference to compete in, and I think for us, we want to certainly move up the table and be more competitive within the conference. So it's definitely been a tough transition in terms of the competition and the teams we see day in and day out. So we try to kind of make our non-conference schedule similar to ODAC teams to prepare us for when we get into ODAC play. And, I think that's really helped us.
And moving from an assistant coach position to a head coach position, you have the importance of a coaching philosophy and how you integrate that into your team. So what has that been here at Emory and Henry for you?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, as an assistant coach, you don't need to have, I guess, as much of a philosophy. You don't make as many of the decisions, but certainly when you become a head coach, everything becomes your decision. So you have to have a philosophy and you have to know how you want to play. So that's really been a big part of it over the last year, not only me shaping my philosophy, but also us as a program shaping how we want to play and what we want to do. So it's been a big part of it for us, and we've really tried to keep the ball and be a possession-based team. We want to keep the ball. We want to get numbers forward. We want to defend hard. We want to defend well. We want to make sure that we're working hard on both sides of the ball. So kind of putting those things together and making sure that we know how we want to play has been a big thing, and also sticking to it. We don't want to give in to how other teams want to play. We want to impose our style on them rather than vice versa. So it's been a challenge. I think some of our guys, for them, it's been a transition compared to how they played at the high school level, how they played at the club level, or how we played here at Emory and Henry in the past. So I think it's been a transition for everybody, but that's part of the growing pains of a team, and I think it's made us a lot stronger. And now I think we are all on the same page, and we know what we want to do. Now it's just a matter of execution.
And I think a big push, I see your wristband there, the All-In 2012 for this team, and that's kind of been an attitude booster for this team, and you guys have been making improvements steadily each year.
Yeah.
Can you kind of talk about some of the improvements that you're making and some of the attitudes of the players on the team?
Sure, yeah. We established the All-In theme just to give us really a way to hold us accountable, to hold ourselves and each other accountable, to say, well, are we really all in? Are we all in every single day? Are we 100% committed every single day? And then, the other meaning was we wanted everybody to be all in. We wanted to have everybody in with us. So it's not a big thing for me is I don't want it to just be about the team. I want our program to be about the alumni, our family members that, are really helping our guys to be here. Certainly our team, our athletic department, we want everybody to be in and kind of support us on this cause as we move the program forward. So, the attitude has really been we got to be committed every single day. And I think the All-In wristbands and just that overall attitude of pushing things forward every day and always working to improve every single day has kind of been the foundation for what we want to do. So All-In, it's every single day improving.
Welcome back to the Allen set for your feature interview. Today our esteemed guest is Dr. Twange Kasoma. She's a professor of mass communications here at Emory and Henry, and also had a big part to do with a big international conference in Zambia this summer. Dr. Kasoma, it's glad to have you.
Thank you for having me here.
So tell us a little bit about this conference.
The theme of the conference was science journalism, environment, media, and politics, the African perspectives. And the purpose of the conference was to provide a public sphere or space for journalists, people in academia, students, and anybody that's interested in science and how science is adequately reported to come together and share ideas and best practices in as far as science is concerned.
Okay, so what prompted your idea to host this conference? You were really the backing behind it, weren't you?
Yes. I was prompted to host this conference given the fact that as a continent, Africa has remained behind when it comes to reporting or coverage of science-related topics. And so I teamed up with the Global Communication Association to be able to provide this conference on the African continent in Zambia. And the Global Communication Association is actually known for hosting conferences in little known places, and so this was a kind of initiative that when proposed to them they were excited about taking up and allowing me to bring it to Zambia. So that was great and interesting for us to actually do that.
Okay, we also I remember last semester heard something about United Nations funds perhaps being used. Did you use that?
We actually got a lot of human resource capital from the United Nations as opposed to actual funds, because initially the funds were supposed to have come from UNESCO, but then the biggest funder of UNESCO, which happens to be the US, had actually pulled out a month before the preparations were concluded. So what they did was they provided us with human resource, they provided us with speakers, they provided us with help in securing a venue. So they provided us with human resource type capital, not necessarily monetary funds.
Okay,
but it still worked out.
Right. Well, that's what's important. So you noted some of these keynote speakers, and we've got this photo here, and we'll give our cameraman a second to get focused on it. But tell us about some of the keynote speakers and what they contributed to the conference.
Okay. First and foremost, let me start with pointing out Honorable Mwansa Kapea, who is the man in the back row wearing dark glasses, and he is the Deputy Minister of Information in Zambia, and officially opened the conference for us on behalf of the Zambian government. In fact, on behalf of the Zambian president, who was actually invited to come and officially open the conference, but then couldn't because of other issues that came up. And then in the picture, we also have, next to Honorable Kapea, we have the Global Communication Association Chair, Dr. Yaya Kamalipo, who's based at Purdue University. And then on the far left end, we have Professor Matthew Hibbert from the University of Stirling in Scotland, who was one of our keynote speakers. And then in the front row, in glasses, in the black suit, we have Professor Piri from South Africa, who came in to talk about GMOs, global genetically modified foods. So, who else? Yes, those are some of the keynote speakers that we had at the conference, and some are not in the picture itself. So, yeah.
So based on that, and we thank you for bringing that picture in. Based on that, what do you think were the key takeaways from this conference? What are journalists and scientists, are they better working together now?
I would say yes, they are. In fact, at the end of the conference, we got a lot of interest from journalists wanting to have more of such forums on the African continent where they could all come together and share experiences and best practices as far as science reporting is concerned. We also had some journalists that had talked to some of the keynote speakers that came in from outside the country, wanting to find out about fellowships and scholarships for them to come to countries like the US to pursue science reporting. So in terms of total representation of countries that we had at the conference, we had about 16 different countries represented at the conference. So it was a pretty nice turnout.
Good. I'm glad it worked out. Also this summer, earlier in the summer, you were able to take a group of 4 Emory and Henry students, including myself, to Zambia for a couple weeks, and we studied journalism there. And this was the second time you've done this. What do you think went better this time than it did the previous time, and what could be improved on?
I had a better connected group this time around. The group dynamics worked really, really well. Nobody felt sick, which was a good thing. I did have one student fall sick in the last group, so the group dynamics really did it for me this time around. I, enjoyed learning about the students before the trip, and then the connection just was perfect. So I did a better job of screening students that went on the trip. In as far as stuff that could be done better, coming up with funding initiatives that would help fund, the trip itself, because although we successfully managed with the, 2-week trip, we did, have some financial issues that in future I would love to kind of have, taken care of.
Right. Just to outline, the basis of the class is that you go to Zambia and you work with the Zambian media outlet and do a mini internship, as you call it. How do you get in touch with those organizations and set up those mini internships from half the world away?
I was privileged to have worked with the Zambian media before I actually came to the US to pursue graduate education. And then beyond that, my family actually has a foundation, the Kasoma Media Foundation, which was set up in memory of my late father, who was well known in media circles in Zambia, having himself been a media practitioner as well as a professor of mass communication. So the family background and my own experience in the Zambian media, allows me to have the adequate networks that I need to make the mini internships for the students happen.
Is part of this trip kind of following in your father's footsteps a little bit?
A little bit. And I say a little bit because, those are big shoes to fill. But, slowly, kind of trying to keep that flame going. So, yes.
Right. Well, unfortunately, we're out of time. Dr. Kasoma, we really appreciate you coming on the set today.
Thank you.
And now we're going to send it out to our Out and About with Brent Treesh.